Topic number 3 is my topic today, and Ant has already brushed on it. So I'm going to try and be as specific as possible. And
away
go
from the NFL.
As opposite of sports as you can get. And we're talking about tabletop dice, pen and paper RPGs of no particular brand. It's you choose how you want. Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Cthulhu.
World of Darkness. Repping.
There we go. So I knew we knew some more.
Do you want me to go on?
I am good.
Can we skip Ant out for this topic?
Yeah,
This has gone for a long
definitely
time.
don't have time. Let's start recording this in the daytime. So my specific question for this, I guess, is I would like to know either your first experience of a tabletop RPG or your very best experience.
Oh, you're killing me. Can this be a 2-hour episode?
We can definitely do a full one, but let's just have
A miniature.
a very a surmise.
I think my first ever introduction to D&D was with my cousin, actually. He used to... I think my whole family used to play D&D back in the day. But they used to... I don't know. But yeah, anyway, my cousin used to play it, and I remember him bringing down all the cards with the floor plans and stuff on.
Like the dungeon tiles.
That's the dungeon tiles, yeah. And then he had some figures in like this nice... Well, it wasn't nice. It was a cardboard, like a small cardboard box. In fact, I've still got it upstairs. And it just said D&D miniatures written on the front of it in like a
Beautiful.
Opened it up, bit of sponge, and in there was the miniatures. And this, because I'd never seen miniatures before at the age of, 6, 7. So this was fascinating to me. So I opened them up and I was like, whoa, I've got orcs, we've got goblins. What the hell are orcs and goblins? I don't know what they are.
I know what they're called. Why do I know what they're called?
But we ended up spending, it was just me and him, and he was the dungeon master and there was just me. And he taught me through like a very basic game of D&D. I've still got all the books that he used upstairs as well, actually. I have to get them out.
That's awesome.
My most favoured memory of D&D is probably with you guys.
Aww.
Because we've had so many funs.
So many fun.
So
much fun.
I've had at least 7 whole funs.
Because I've had about 8.
Oh, I said minimum.
Yeah, minimum. Yeah. I've had about 8 funs.
At least 7 funs.
I've only had 1 because that's all I roll on the dice.
You do spend most of your time rolling on 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's short and sweet for me because I haven't really had that much experience with D&D other than being very young and then very recently with you guys. I mean, since then, I've played...
That's cool.
I collected Games Workshop miniatures in between that, like most of my life, since he introduced me to D&D because it was more modern and it was more accessible. So I collected a lot of Games Workshop miniatures. But I never really played the game. Mm-hmm. Played it occasionally, but I was more of a collector. I just used to love putting things together.
It's like Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
We don't paint the Pokemon cards.
Yes.
But
I did. They're there.
Never mind.
But yeah, it was...
Painted a shiny Charizard just with a permanent marker and black.
Gloss.
Like, I'd open like a box set or a starter set and I'd be like, okay, so there's a rule book, great, go away. Miniatures, and then I'd just literally cut them out, glue them and paint them. And I just used to love painting.
Talking
that
about
was me with Warhammer.
throwing the rule book
That's what
away.
we're talking about.
My early memories, first memories of D&G, Dolce & Gabbana, D&D. I played with James. How old were we? 12?
We were very early secondary school because it's actually where I met you properly.
Yeah.
And like Joey and Luke.
So we met through athletics, and I think from there we moved on to D&D.
What the fuck? This is so backwards.
Yeah, it is a bit. But yeah,
I can't kick this ball, so let's roll to see if I can.
It's like devolution. That's what.
Yeah. De-evolve.
But I remember we found a club that was down a local area, King Standing. What was it? How like it's like a youth club.
It was. That's actually been knocked down now, which is sad. You drive past it, isn't there?
It's been knocked down. Every like Wednesday, I'm going to say it probably wasn't. It may well have been a Wednesday, but we go down every Wednesday. We wanted our figures, and obviously we all didn't really know the rules. I think. You may have a friend of ours, Adam Holland, who was mad into it. He probably knew a bit.
Oh, yeah, he knew.
Joseph Parker probably knew a bit more.
I seem to remember Teddy.
Oh, yeah, Teddy. He loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does the role playing.
It's my mate Alex's big brother, like his role play life.
He's called Teddy.
Yes.
Yes, just like our mate Alex is called Tiny.
It was Jordan. But he's 6'6".
6'6".
Yeah, 20 something stone.
Massive teddy bear.
Teddy bear.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I remember us all playing and us all just not giving a single fuck about any rule in the game. I mean, I was kitted out with 2 like sun blades that you probably never find in a real game of D&D.
But I had them!
Backpacks full of gold and all sorts. Had all the special like ring of invisibility, cloak of invulnerability.
Do you remember the Ring of Win game?
Yeah, there was this. Yeah, it was that bad. We joked about having this one ring that just won the game.
Does Matt have this in life?
I win.
Hang on. Yep.
I think we'd done that for maybe 6 months to a year.
We did it for a while actually.
And in this club, like a legit dungeon master said, "I'll give you rookies or you newbies a real game to do."
Yeah.
And this guy just had a mare with all of us. We were all sat down there, pulled up with our character sheets, full to the brim with all this gear.
He wasn't having that.
And he weren't having it. And in true noob fashion, I remember we got to this one village and there was a fire started, or orcs probably started. Or
I know I was there, but I don't remember any of this.
And
this is crazy.
I'm not the best with science. It's apparently a well-known fact that you don't throw flour on a fire.
Maybe.
My initial reaction
I don't know.
to this fire in
Small
the middle of a village was to douse it in a bag of flour. That's all I had on me.
I want to need Mythbusters.
That
to get
I
involved
figured would stop it, and the dungeon master tried so hard to convince me not to do it without telling me don't do it.
The key is,
and I was like, no.
I've done DM'd for you guys or GM'd because it was Pathfinder, and every now and then I'll go, "Are you sure?" And you have to go, "No." I'm not sure. That's the correct response.
Are you sure you want to do that?
It's when I go charging through doors and you're like, don't do that.
Yeah,
Please play the game properly. Please perception.
When you're behind that board with all your dice and your pieces, your job is to say yes. So if you say you want to do something, I have to say yes and facilitate that into the game. If at any point I go, "Are you sure?" Something is horribly wrong.
Are you sure?
No. Is that your final answer? Do you want to phone a friend?
Ask the audience.
If I was ever
before, they're like,
if I was ever the DM, like I'd just let you do whatever.
Yeah,
and you just get slaughtered.
just give it a go.
Okay.
But he tried so hard to convince me not to do it, and just being stubborn, I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And he said, okay, roll a d20 to see if you can physically throw the flour into the fire. And I got a 20. I got a nasty 20. Threw this bag of flour into the single most centre point of this fire, and it pretty much killed me. We hadn't even got onto the quest, and I was already like, at the game.
I love that.
And that was one of my earliest memories. I wouldn't say best memory.
I just play it through in my head like a film, and I just imagine him running. Bang flower.
To be fair, that's probably my best memory because it's my most vivid memory of D&D. I mean, I've had some good fun playing.
I love the way your best memory is dying.
I know that we never really used to play by the legit guideline rules.
Yeah,
we used to make it up as we go along just for the sheer fun that it was more, for the sheer fact it was more fun that way. We had more fun collecting better gear rather than running around with a wooden sword. Or
we were playing Diablo.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Just loot, and it didn't matter if you had 3,000 gold coins. It didn't weigh you down. You'd be like lying down, thinking, "I'm not emptying my bag. I'm not going to do it. I know I can't move, but
we got a chest back at town, man. Put it all in there."
Coming back to the youth club we used to visit, I'm pretty sure was it like a year, or maybe even a year and a half after we stopped really going to youth club to do it. That I think a bunch of Utes had got in, and
they got in.
They got in, and I think that they caused a serious bit of ruckus, didn't they?
They did. Essentially, they were trying to.
Watching Downton Abbey.
Can you describe this ruckus?
No one got hurt because Teddy had his foot up against the door at one point. There was like 30 kids, like chavs outside, trying to break down the door to kill us because we were playing D&D. And Teddy, on his own, just took a step back and lifted his foot up and took a step forward, put his foot flat against the door, and not one of them could open this door. And I think they got tired and went to sleep and snuck out afterwards. We had to move to Sutton after that because it's nicer there.
But then that was when I hadn't played D&D till obviously we started playing it again quite recently. But yeah, that's my most vivid memory of Dungeons and
stories,
Dragons.
Reminds me, actually, we need to play again soon, because...
Yeah. All I remember really of the I think it was called the Circle Battle Group, because they had their own character sheet and it was printed on the top, and that was pretty cool. The only stuff I really remember back there is there was one woman down there who used to wear bright green trousers and a bright red jumper.
Is this a real woman?
Yes, a real human woman. Yeah. And someone just whispered to me, "Red and green should never be seen." Yes. That's my only memory of that place, really. Other than buying like crisps and drink, and that being a big deal because we were out the house at 11 years old or whatever. That's cool. We're going to come to you last because we can work out how much time we've got at that point.
Yeah.
My earliest memory was like playing. I played it a very short amount of time. One evening after school, might have been like year 6, and we played like it was like a preset thing. I know you've been talking about like 5th edition and well, it's how you've already got characters. You don't have to do a character sheet or whatever.
Oh, in the starter set it is. Yeah, you have to make your own character.
It might have been the starter set then. Like everything was set out, and we just did like small run through of like
I don't
my
know.
waveforms going through the roof.
I found a video of flour being thrown onto a fire.
Is it serious?
I'm not going to play it because I'll wait till we've took a break.
Get the link in it and
Get
put
your
it in.
own as well afterwards.
That's for after the cameras go on.
I can't remember anything about it, but I remember having a lot of fun, and like the time had gone far too quickly. Like I had to get home for dinner. Like I only live around the corner, but like I remember, like we started playing, then all of a sudden, you know how you lose all concept of time.
Yeah.
And then I was getting a phone call from my mum going, "Where the fuck are you? Like, you need to get home for dinner." So yeah, but then other than that, it's just been with you guys like recently. I mean, I've loved it. Like, it's probably pretty easy for me to love it. The character I played.
It is you.
I've got a big hammer.
Evil. He played a very, very thick. I don't know what your alignment was actually. Yeah, he was a berserker who his only question was evil with a question mark, and if the answer was yes, it was hammer. Yes.
Usually got a natty 20 and a crit.
Sometimes evil with an exclamation mark.
Evil.
Evil with a question mark, followed by yes, then followed by evil with an exclamation.
There's occasionally a ...
Evil. For
It was
anyone,
great for if we tried to roleplay because I didn't have to do shit.
for anyone that's watching or listening that maybe has knowledge of Pathfinder, I think it was a Shawanti or something like that.
Berserker.
Shawanti barbarian actually.
Barbarian.
And I
who could
Berserk.
yeah, I went down
rage,
the
I think it was.
berserker.
It was like raging.
I could rage.
Yeah.
I could
I
cleave.
raged for like 7 rounds or something. I remember being in that one like
I can
factory
rage.
and you raged for like the tyre factory and just killed all
The way I worked it, yeah. The way I worked
Glassworks.
it, I could pretty much rage for an entire session. Once we got into
magic.
the fighting area, like most of our session would be going to the place and perception and stuff, which made it a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did actually do a lot of role play as well. It wasn't it?
Which is a lot of fun because otherwise it's just me rolling and hitting
Except for
stuff.
me, because I played a girl.
The problem was though, there'd be 5 of us and we're kitted out, and we'd break into a room and there'd be like a bloody little gremlin, and you're just like, I'm raging. Next room, there's a barrel with arms. I'm raging. Okay, you into the next room. Oh, there's a goblin who's asleep. I'm raging. Like you walk into the last room. Final boss. I'm out of rage, guys. Sorry, you're right. I'm knackered.
It's out of 3. It's after 3 p.m. I'm raging. No, not even an encounter. I'm raging.
Yeah.
I'm going to quickly jump onto mine. Mine follows directly after the my first Final Fantasy experience, actually, and not because of it, but it was the childminder who lent me that. And
That sounds weird.
Child
that?
mind.
I don't like the sentence.
Well, okay, friend's dad who we went to after school.
Yeah, don't call it childminder.
Yeah, that's fine. That works.
They
for me.
murder people.
Children usually. Finished. Was it childminder?
It was one of those uncles.
Who else are they going to murder? It's a childminder.
Well, they're
all they got.
minding the children. That's
Not minded the children.
Or they are so good at their job that they just murder everyone else.
Yeah.
So I gave him the game back and finished it. And he went, "Did you enjoy that?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Right, we're going to play D&D today." And I'm like, "Cool." Like, I ain't heard of that.
Okay.
Your mind's thinking S&M. You're like, I'm a bit young for this, but
But it's okay, childminder. We can do it.
So here's me thinking computer game.
yeah.
Right, and then he just puts this piece of paper on the floor, gives me a sheet, gives my sister a sheet, and goes, "Okay, we're playing these dice." I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, and he goes, okay, and he just draws like a T section on a road, and he goes, you're this guy. This is how much health you've got, and this is what you can do. I'm like, sick, okay. And he goes, a goblin jumps out. What do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm going to kill it. I don't like goblins. How are you going to kill it? I said, well, what I'm going to do, essentially, is push my sword into its stomach, and then I'm going to run around the side of him, and then I'm going to pull it out slightly, push up out of his mouth, and then just chop down like this. And he goes, well, roll your dice. And I'm like, is it that easy? And I rolled a 20, and I said, what happened? And he went, well, you did it. I was like, okay, I kind of like this. I can do that. I don't remember the rest of the details. I remember that very, very vividly.
I really should roll the natty 20.
Exactly, yeah, the first time I ever rolled
Going back to the
dice.
Big Hammer and you being DM, I just loved your face whenever I got a crit. It's just like, you're just so gutted.
I wanted this to last a little longer.
It's just like, you've got your little goblin that's just jumped out, and I'm like, right, rage, hit it with my hammer, and it's just like, well, he's gone.
My favourite memories of D&D are actually being at school when we weren't specifically playing D&D, and it was mostly Luke Holland related. And he's mentioned his brother Adam as knowing all about it.
Luke Holland, son of a bitch.
Holland. That's his nickname. Just call him Holland in a weird voice.
Wasn't it that?
Holland. He's so weird. I know, you'd understand if you met him.
Is this a Downton Abbey thing?
Maybe it's led to that. I haven't seen him in years.
Holland.
So I used to do it, didn't I? That was hilarious. And he'd come up to you, like you'd be walking on to your next class, and he was in my class, but like you split up every now and again, and you'd meet in a different class. And he'd come up behind her and just go, "You're in a cave," and then we're playing. And it's that quick, and I'm like, "Fuck, really?" And he's like, "Yeah, what do you do?" And you're playing like we've got no dice or anything like that. It's all just imagination. Or he'd come up with a piece of paper and he's written a bit down or something like that.
Have you seen?
It's great. It was so much fun.
The Big Bang Theory when they get forced into taking the girls shopping. Mm-mm. And they're sat like by the dressing room and they're like playing imaginary Dungeons and Dragons.
It's like that.
And Sheldon's like proper imagining it, and he's like rolls it. And he's like, "Oh, 3," and he's like, and then Leonard's just like, 20, I win. And Sheldon's like, "Oh, you're on fire tonight."
Yeah, I think that's probably it for me. The kind of, and we spent a good year or so. It was just whenever any of us had a spare moment, that's what we were doing. So we'd go to, was it Joey's friend Chris used to live next door to me, and he had the pool table in the garage, and we didn't use it for pool. That was our D&D. That was our D&D table.
It's grass.
Yeah.
Indoor grass.
We actually did some cool stuff there. We used to play Command and Conquer and link up the PlayStation to 2 big TVs.
It was lava.
Oh man, lava.
It could have been, yeah.
Redstone.
Or you go to Luke Holland's dad's house, and I remember coming up with an adventure and thinking, like, it was goblins, and I didn't want him to hit it, and so I was like, you keep missing. And I was like, what are you missing? I go, oh, they had sex with displacer beasts, and now you can't hit them because you think they're 5 feet in the wrong direction. And there's these little tidbits of stories come out. I can't really remember much of the circle battle group or whatever it was, stuff that we did that was bits and pieces. I remember being a DM and coming up with a character in a game that could make your items magical for a fee, and then all the other tables of adults heard about it and were kind of like lining up, so can I come and visit the shop and get some magic items? Secretly, they were all just like us, except their DMs were mean. I think that's what it was.
Our DMs were just...
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Taking... do you remember the giant art folders, like the A1, A2 art folders, and getting a white piece of card and then you could draw on them and lugging them to people's houses and stuff like that? That was great. No grids, no nothing, all imagination. Spot on.
I used to also, I think we all enjoyed painting the figures, didn't we?
Yeah.
See, now I was obsessed with like putting them together and gluing them. Like, I really like making scenery.
We need him to start his story then.
Jim.
Go on, hurry up, man, quick.
Yeah, I entered a competition ages ago because I used to be really good at painting. But I'd like paint one model really well and the other 20 would be unpainted.
Just paint your hero, leave the enemies unpainted.
Yeah. But just quickly going over mine, I can't pinpoint a favourite memory. Mine, I'm going to take us back 15 years ago. I think I probably started when I was 9 or 10.
It's alright, man, we've already been back to 1994.
We can do it.
And I remember fucked in the womb.
My best friend at the time, he was my cousin. I used to hang out. We were pretty much just like a big extended family, and we all used to hang out all the time and play games.
I don't know where it came from.
And after school, I went to my cousin's house. It was me, Rich, Bob, a few other guys, and they'd started playing this game with one of their tutors at school. Like, he'd set up this after-school club. They went to a different school than me. And my cousin Bob, he's older. He's 2-3 years older than me. And he said, "Should we? We can play this game if you want." And at the time, it's called Hunt of the Reckoning. And now this later evolved into World of Darkness, and now it's like a normal role play system, but it uses D10 dice. So rather than rolling 1, you might have 3 strength and 4 melee. You'll roll 7 dice, you get a number of successes, that kind of thing.
I understand all of that.
Yeah, the premise of Hunt of the Reckoning.
No.
A D10 is a 10-sided dice.
Yeah, no.
There we go.
But anyway, the premise of Hunt of the Reckoning is you are a person that you have a supernatural occurrence in your life and you become imbued with the power to see the supernatural. And there are different classes, you could say. They're called creeds. Each one's going to give you a different power. So I always played a judge, so that gives you your...
I love that there's a creed called a judge.
Yeah, that's exactly
awesome.
what you are.
Judge
You're a class of judgment, and it's basically...
Paladin.
The abilities, they're hard to describe, because a lot of them, they're not like, you're going to throw a fireball. They're all... not necessarily passive abilities, like where there's one class you have the power of rejuvenate and you can slightly heal someone. It's not, here's 12 hit points, it's I'm going to accelerate your healing process, so you're now going to heal in 2 months instead of 6. Now the ability I had was I could freeze something in place as long as I had eye contact with it. That was one of my earlier ones. Another one was I could see auras around people, so you could look at a supernatural and tell if it's like a vampire and things like this. The best part about this is it's not Dungeons and Dragons where a lot of people are aware of it. People know orcs, people know goblins. This is based in a reality. So when you learn about vampires, vampire has its own system. Werewolves have their own systems. It's its own rulebook. So vampires have their own classes. Werewolves have their own classes. And we learned about this over the course of about 7-year campaign.
Wow.
Where we
hell,
played
mate.
this one game, and we played this one game. We had 18-hour stints. We'd play this sometimes 4 or 5 days in a week, and it was phenomenal. We had people join the group, we had people leave, but we always had this core group of players. By the end of it, we were like we were tooled up to hell. We played Sims, we built a mansion, we were that rich, like we all were like masters in firearms, melee combat, and all these things because we played for so long. But to me, it was that learning experience of learning about the world because we'd actually have to find a vampire and we'd learn something new about it and be like, that's not how we understand Dracula, that's not how we understand werewolves and things like this. And we'd have to go through that process of interrogation, and then we'd learn about the vampire underworld, we'd learn about werewolves. And then 4 years later, he'd introduce something new that we'd never heard of before. And then all these other monsters and mages come into it and all these things. And every time it was this continuing learning curve where I'm learning it as the character learned it. And I will never get that again because I know it now. If I play it, I can piece it together. If we come across a vampire that has superhuman strength and superhuman speed, my mind's going to go, they're a bruiser, which a bruiser is the powerful, tooled up vampires, whereas you have ones that are manipulative and they're resistant to damage and they're adventuring. I know this, but I didn't know that then, and I will never replace that learning curve.
Episode 1, part 1. Yeah. What would you unsee?
Yeah.
18 years.
But the guilt is I actually killed the group. I actually got the group killed at the end.
Why does it not surprise you?
I killed them.
Do you remember the great deleting of 2015?
I delete everything. Everyone that knows me knows I just delete rampantly.
Rampant, right.
But deleting.
He did the hand thing again, audio listeners. He did the hand thing, the Downton Abbey thing.
But if I was going to think of a favourite memory, there's too many across those campaigns. The games we've had have been ridiculous, but one of my favourite by far was one of the first times I ran a game, and this was at university. I was just trying to get my housemates into it. They'd played bits before, they were quite looking forward to it, and we ran a Dungeons and Dragons. And they got through one session before being arrested and then executed.
In real life?
Yeah.
D&D serious shit, man.
Yeah.
It is.
Don't play on LSD. No, but it's...
Gary Gygax, you piece of shit.
There's one guy...
People.
I work with him now, Dave. He'll probably watch this. And
Hi, Dave.
He's a destructor. He's one of those characters... A lot of campaigns you'll have someone who's there and their sole job is to annoy the GM and to derail the plot. There will be a plot and their sole purpose...
Are you sure Dave isn't called Matt?
Yeah, and their sole purpose is
What's
to
this thing
just...
doing? Sorry.
They just want to keep the GM busy. And I'm trying to run this campaign, and there was a scene where they were in a tavern at the end of a quest, and there was a group of elves sitting down, like having drinks, and he wanted to talk to the elves, and he decided one of the elves had a nice dress. And it was a man in wearing like some long elf dresses, because elves. And what he decided to do was he wanted the dress off the elf. The elf wouldn't give it him, so he climbed under the table, climbed up the skirt of this elf. And it ended in his idea was, if I pop up with enough force, the elf will come out the top of the dress and I will then be wearing it. And I'm like, you're not doing this. And he's like, I am rolling. This is happening. And then he failed miserably. And then we were in, if he got a crit, that would have been amazing. That's what it happens. We were in this scene.
But instead he just ends up with his face in this elf's badge.
Yeah, we're in this scene where other people are fighting elves and
But is that on a 1 or a 20?
You rolled a 1, you had died from vaginal suffocation.
Dude, I can think of worse ways to die.
It's an elf as well. Ridiculous.
A bit old up there.
A horse's collar.
That's the only part that ages.
Oh my god. This podcast taking a tone today.
I just remember this scene of him being in this tavern, and the tavern, like the innkeeper's trying to hit him, the elves are trying to pull their mate down, and this elf's now sitting on his shoulders. By the way, he's stark bollock naked at this point. He realised for this work he would have to strip naked and climb up. His clothes were on the floor. He's now running around like fully naked with this elf sitting on his shoulders, trying to pop him out the top while this elf's trying to punch him in the head. And the other guys are going, I'm leaving, like I'm done. And then they got arrested, and it was like ridiculous. But
that's crazy. I think that if we ever play again, we need to set a ground rule that just because you said it and then rolled a 20 doesn't mean it happened. There's physics to consider.
I think the GM, like if you can let him try, if you roll a 20, the GM can go, oh, well, you rolled a 20, but all that happened was...
Yes, I will give you the best case scenario.
I think the two of the other highlights were 2 times I also killed fellow players. But this wasn't my intentional. It was the first one was the first Hunter campaign where everyone ended up dying. Because we killed we were basically under some spell. We found a powerful hunter who was basically insane and ended up turning us all against each other, and we kind of killed each other. But it was my fault because I invited them into the group and found them. And I remembered killing one of the guys, and I was really happy because it was one of the best dice rolls I'd ever made. But in another game, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and we're fighting this weird sea creature that can manipulate people. And it convinced me that my best friend who was running into the forest was going to fetch help to kill my new best friend that's in the water. So I drew my bow and shot him, and I rolled a critical, and I rolled max damage, and I one-shotted him. It was the best dice roll I had ever made. And he just took an arrow through the back of the face, and I was like...
That's right.
I'm proud of that. Yeah, sorry, mate, but that was amazing.
You've tried to do this so many times. You haven't tried to. I think you've intentionally missed your target while I'm already there hitting it with my hammer. And you've gone, oh, Matt. Ooh.
Yeah.
Matt. Sorry. Luckily, you've only ever rolled 1s.
Yeah. That's that. I'm rolling 20s. And I'm like, I rolled a 1, James. I missed. Let me die. Let me die.
Like the amount of times I've had to fudge dice rolls so you all don't die behind the mat as well. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll get you as close as you can, and if it just happens, it happens. But I don't know if you remember in the starter game when we were fighting the dragon. It was like a dragon, like a black poison dragon or something like that.
I don't think I played that one.
We had you might have done.
I remember.
I missed the first session.
It was literally the first, like the beginner's box of the Pathfinder thing, and we had the big drawn map and stuff. Oh, were you not there?
No, I came to the second session because I remember like getting in the message thing, and you were like, "You've got to create a character because this is what we're doing now."
Oh, I'm with you. Well, anyway, there was a dice roll. It might have been you that died in that one actually, because the Black Dragon had 2 attacks, and I rolled 2 d20s, and they both came up 20, and I was like, "There's no way I can mitigate this. You're probably gonna die." And you ended up at like minus 20 something hit points in that game.
It should be harsher than that. I was stupid. Like you should have let me die.
Oh yeah, like my plan all along was to get us through the first book and then ramp it up a little bit, like because we were still
when we come back to play it, like I think I like the idea of having like shorter games because like.
I've been thinking about it. I'd reorganise how we did it and cut the sessions down.
But then, like, whoever is GM has to be harsh.
I want to run coming up some one shots, which are literally going to be a story in a night, but they won't be D&D. Like each one will probably be a different system. Just see, I want to run Cthulhu more than anything because the chances of you all surviving are like very, very
He loves
slim.
that tentacly bastard.
Yeah, like it's a great system. It's almost guaranteed. If you survive, like it's a miracle. Like the storyteller wasn't even planning that because there's certain things like you're looking at the story and it's like there's this trapdoor. They open it, roll a dice, roll a d100. If they get above a 10, they get sucked into a black abyss. Character's dead, and you're like, okay then. It's like it's
I'll get my
hard.
coat.
Yeah.
Get me coat.
Or you go insane, like quite rapidly. You see a monster, you roll, you fail, so your character's now insane. It does not mess about this system.
I love it.
Glad it's only a one shot thing.
From my point of view, as I think I'd like to play again as well, because being a DM is a completely different experience, isn't it? Like you know what everything that's happening. You don't know what the players are thinking, and you'll send me off on tangents occasionally, but there's different kinds of pressure. I think that's all it is. Like you get put on the spot as a player. A lot of the time, it's like, what are you doing? And you have to figure it all out. But when you've got 4 or 5 people in front of you doing that to you.
It's a shame, like, DMs that doesn't have more time. Like, I know for a fact I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't know how to fucking DM to begin with. But, like, figuring out a load more puzzles. Like, you're in a dungeon and you've got to figure out how to open this door. Like, there's so many possibilities with the game.
Yeah.
This is the one thing. Dungeons and Dragons is notorious for it requires a heavy amount of planning. Yeah. And the one thing my cousin Bob, he was a storyteller, but he is the storyteller. Every game we've ever played, like no storyteller has ever in our group has matched him. And that 6-year campaign we had, I'm pretty sure he improvised most of it. Like he didn't plan. He read the rule book, he knew the systems, and he turned up and he just riffed it. And it's I've done campaigns where I've overplanned it and things like that, and it gets regimented. But D&D especially, there's so much.
I struggled with the one that we did because it was all in a book, and it was like, by the way, you got to read all of this. And I was like, I've got 300 pages and I've got to read it. And it wasn't just the first chapter because characters come back later, and you have to portray them in a certain way.
To make it.
It's pros and cons because if you read the book that has a preset adventure, it's going to give you the maps, it's going to give you the characters, the stats,
gives you your time.
You then everything's linked, so you can't make mistakes in regards to plot. So you have to get the characters right, what they're saying, and things like this. If it's your own, it's easier to remember things or make stuff up because you know what is and isn't important. Yeah. The problem then is you have to work out the stats for the monsters. You have to work out, is this going to be a fair fight? Is it one-sided? And the biggest factor you have to take into account is the players. Now, the last story I ran for the guys back home, I created an island. They were shipwrecked, and I created an island which basically had this civil war going on where people had come in and overtook the previous inhabitants, and they got caught in the middle of it. And I had planned the entire thing, who the characters was, the locations, and it was a nightmare. The campaign went down really, really well, but it's a learning curve.
Awesome.
You should do that.